Aswang, the shape-shifting Filipino monster that devours humans. In the Philippines, a mythical creature called the Aswang combines the horror of a shapeshifter with the most fearsome traits of vampires and werewolves, making this monster the most feared in all of the region's folklore. The word Aswang actually refers to a range of mythological monsters from were-dogs to vampires to a gruesome viscera sucker. All can change their appearance at will, however, and all hunger for human flesh and blood. At night, it is rumored to prowl villages using deceptive sounds to confuse its prey. With its backward feet and bloodshot eyes, the Aswang's unsettling appearance is as terrifying as its hunger for human flesh. Stories of the Aswang have been passed down for centuries, with written accounts dating back to the 16th century when Spanish colonizers recorded the creature in the Doctrina Cristiana. The Aswang comes in various forms, such as the bird-like tik-tik and the man-eating manananggal, which can split its body and fly. What is the mythical Aswang, vampiric monster of the Philippines? The trickiest thing about an Aswang is that it often disguises itself as a human during the day. It prowls out in the open, looking for victims among the humans it interacts with. Considered to be part vampire, part witch, and part werebeast, the idea that the Aswang could be walking among you without your knowledge is one of the scariest things about the creature. That, and the fact that its favorite meal is human flesh, primarily that of children and unborn fetuses. It has an affinity for the liver and heart in particular. The Aswang allegedly has a proboscis-like tongue it uses to suck out blood, even using it to suck unborn babies out from their mother's womb. At night, the Aswang stalks small villages in the Philippines, looking for its next meal. The Aswang likes to confuse its prey with a tricky sound similar to a repeated tick. As it gets closer, it gets quieter to fool you into thinking that the creature is getting further away, luring you into a sense of false relief. You may not know when you're near an Aswang during the day since it is at its weakest state at that time. They are unlikely to attack their victims in broad daylight. As far as the creature's physical appearance, believers stated that it often takes the form of a beautiful young woman with long black hair. However, there are telltale physical signs that the midnight rendezvous with a gorgeous woman may not be as it seems. Aswangs have bloodshot eyes and their feet are often flipped backward. They reportedly hate loud noises and bright lights. If you manage to get a good look at their eyes, your reflection will be upside down. Supposedly, another common way is that albularios oil, a common herbal remedy in the Philippines, will boil whenever an Aswang is near. Chilling stories of the Aswang date back centuries. There are allegedly 3 varieties of Aswang. The tik-tik or wak-wak is named for the sound it makes while hunting and turns into a large bird. The sigbin or zigbin appears as something similar to a Tasmanian devil. The 3rd variety is the manananggal, which looks like a woman who can split itself in half and fly like a bat. In 2023, residents of Talisay, Philippines reported seeing a manananggal perched on a house, according to CDN. It frightened some townsfolk enough to call the police and even seek counseling following the encounter. As described, the night appears to be the time when Aswangs are strongest, gaining superhuman strength. They shapeshift and change the appearance of other objects to trick humans. When they take a victim, they supposedly can use an inanimate object to create a doppelganger, which then quickly becomes sick and dies to avoid discovery. Origins of the Aswang go back to the 16th century when the Spanish conquerors first recorded stories in writing. Juan de Plasencia, a 16th century missionary in the Philippines, described these beliefs in the Doctrina Cristiana, the first published book in the Philippines. The distinctions made among the priests of the devil were as follows. The 8th they called Oswang, which is equivalent to sorcerer. They say that they have seen him fly and that he murdered men and ate their flesh. The 2nd Aswang they called manggagaway, or witches, who deceived by pretending to heal the sick. These priests even induced maladies by their charms, which in proportion to the strength and efficacy of the witchcraft, are capable of causing death. In this way, if they wished to kill at once, they did so. Or they could prolong life for a year by binding to the waist a live serpent, which was believed to be the devil, or at least his substance. This office was general throughout the land. Stories of the Aswang could stem as far back as the 13th century, when Malay people came to the Philippines and brought with them their supernatural beliefs. Their folklore referred to a creature similar to the Aswang called the penanggal. These monsters allegedly also appeared as normal women during the day, but had long tongues and fed on mothers and unborn children at night. The Spanish conquerors of the 16th century noted that the people feared the Aswang the most. But they may have been the ones pushing fear of the monster themselves for their own gain. They attached it to babaylans, who were female spiritual leaders, in an effort to push Christianity. They also attached the monster to women who protested against them when they arrived, so they could squash political resistance. Whether a story to control people or a monster to be feared, the Aswang is truly something out of humanity's darkest nightmares.